Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. We got news! We've got a ton to talk about this week. I've already got 6 videos already done recorded, but the news just keeps coming, and quite frankly, we might have a double upload this week. Anyway, so much has been going on this week. We start off today with the big news, obviously, that may or may not happen tomorrow as of recording, and that is that Donald Trump has announced that he will be arrested in the coming days. Now, we have reached uncharted waters here. I don't think I have ever had the opportunity to cover, realistically, anything like this before. You know, kind of like one of those random, like a dot on the 2023 bingo card types of things. Out of all the things that I expect to happen this year, this was not one of them. But as it looks right now, the next 24 hours or so might not be the best hours for Trump, as he has said on Truth Social that he believes that he will be arrested by New York authorities this coming Tuesday. Now, I don't believe they're actually going to, lead him off in handcuffs into the back of a police car. We're not talking about like a violent crime, and we're talking about a former president of the United States. And obviously, this is a pretty major deal because, well, obviously, not only is Trump one of the more famous people in the last couple of decades, he's a billionaire, he owns a bunch of property across this country, has become like this American icon. He had his own show, The Apprentice, he owns his own business. He even had his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But Trump obviously was also the former president of the United States and is already a major candidate for the 2024 presidential election coming up here in the United States. You know, he announced his run right after the 2022 midterm elections, and in a lot of polls and places, he's currently the front runner and holds the favorite lead for the GOP nomination. He probably will have a pretty tight battle with Ron DeSantis, who is the governor of Florida, you know, my state. That's a whole nother fucking rabbit hole, which I will make a video about in the coming weeks. By the way, we're only like 3 or 4 months away from the first wave of presidential debates for both political parties. July is usually when the first debates are held, and we're only about less than 11 months away from the Iowa caucuses that should take place February of next year. So we're pretty damn close to this election. But obviously, this is going to be a huge major deal because not only this is a former president, but this is somebody who is planning to run for president once again. This has never happened before, by the way. A president of the United States, whether they be former or currently sitting, has never been arrested, has never been sent to jail, never had been criminally charged and or indicted by any law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. It is something that has never happened in the history of the United States of America. So this would actually mark the first time that a US president, former or sitting, has actually been arrested and criminally charged by police in American history. I mean, this is a pretty fucking insane story. This is something that we have never seen happen before, and apparently this is what we should be kind of keeping our eye out for in the coming days, because it looks like this has a chance. I mean, I don't know why, like, if this wasn't actually a possibility, you know, why Trump would even announce this publicly. He may have probably got some intel beforehand, so I have to imagine this is genuinely like a real urgent concern for Trump. Link in the description, archived of course. This is more relevant to the New York case ruled over by Alvin Bragg, so this is in Manhattan actually. And it has to do with business filings that is specifically an older case involving Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, led him pleading guilty at the time and saying, yes, I was specifically told by Trump to pay $130,000 in hush money to Stormy Daniels, and that those payments were filed. He pled guilty to making this bribe and admit it while he was in trial. So I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but during the Trump campaign era, like around 2014, 2015, when he started really trying to become president of the United States, this is when this actually happened. And Stormy Daniels, if you don't know who she is, she's like one of this Playboy type of porn star, so she's like one of those older ones. But Trump supposedly had like some sort of affair with her, you know, slept with her, cheated on his wife on her, and she claims that this all happened, you know, however long ago, and essentially Trump allegedly sent $130,000 in hush money to her through Michael Cohen to make her, you know, stop publicly saying that, you know, Trump had like an affair, you know, trying to tell her to shut her mouth. That's why it's called hush money for a reason. So it's not just for like anything political or anything crazy like that. Nothing to do with J6, nothing to do with Russia. This is only just a charge stemming from something pretty much completely unrelated to his presidency and all that. At least not directly. Had no clue that giving somebody money that is covered originally under NDA was actually illegal at all. I'm not so sure exactly the legal stretching that's going on, but again, this is Manhattan, so, you know, they don't usually play by the same rules as the actual legal system itself. So Trump is obviously pretty much aware, it seems, of what's going on that he addressed via this leaked info or whatever. It may have not been leaked. Again, he may have been told about this in advance. The date that's been kind of like set on this whole thing here is for Tuesday, and that is this coming Tuesday. And as of me recording this video, it is Monday, meaning that, well, within the next 24 hours from now, we're really going to see whether or not this was actually, you know, really anything for, I guess, concern. You know, a reason for anyone to talk here. Tuesday is gonna be a really exciting news day if this ever happens. I mean, let's keep it a $150. If he gets arrested on Tuesday, like if he actually ends up getting arrested, that is going to be abso-fucking-lutely breaking bombshell fucking news, right? Like, this is guarantee going to be damn near everywhere, both national and international. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, BBC, CBC, Al Jazeera, 9 News, DW.com, or whatever. Everybody is going to be talking about this because, as I said earlier in the video, this is literally uncharted waters. There has never been a president who's really been in this situation. You know, there's never been, like, you know, for instance, Richard Nixon was never arrested for corruption charges. Bill Clinton never got arrested for what he did.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Or like George W. wasn't getting hit with like RICO, you know what I mean? Now, there are multiple problems with this. The first problem is actually putting him in a jail cell, if you charge him and arrest him. This is something actually that both Styx and Optimus mentioned in their videos talking about Trump getting arrested. Here in the United States, once you have finished your term as being president, you are followed for the rest of your life with Secret Service agents. Former presidents, by the way, are not even allowed to drive cars, believe it or not. They're not allowed to drive their own cars. They have to have a Secret Service agent drive for them. Point is, all former presidents must be followed by Secret Service agents at all times. If you were to, therefore, arrest Donald Trump, put him on trial, and if he's ever found guilty, so you know he's been punished, you can't hold him in a jail cell. You can't even detain him while the trial is still going on. He can also make bail, you know, he's rich as fuck, he is a billionaire, so putting him in a jail cell wouldn't be a problem anyway, at least while the trial is still going on. Like, if you were to put Donald Trump in prison, the question becomes, where the fuck are you going to hold him? Are you going to hold Donald Trump in a cell and then have like a rotating cast of like Secret Service agents in adjacent cells? Are you going to hold him in the same cells as the general public? Are you going to put him in like some sort of like, you know, special federal prison? Are you going to have like to build like a little attachment to the federal prison? You know, it's Donald Trump, so he can like decorate it with a gold toilet and everything like that, you know, to make it look like his suite up in Trump Tower in New York. I mean, do you see what I mean? And federal law requires that the Secret Service must be there attending to him. Holding him in a cell while requiring Secret Service to be here, how are you going to execute it? It's not going to be an easy task. And most certainly it's not even going to be even possible. That's the first problem. The second problem is that Donald Trump is currently located in Florida, and Florida, being run largely by America First populists and MAGA Republicans who may like Ron DeSantis, you know, the one who might be running for president in 2024. They might prefer him over Trump, and let me tell you, as a Florida man myself, I can and will admit it. But this is largely a Manhattan case, you know what I mean? So it's not that the Florida government would, you know, act immediately to prevent the extradition of Donald Trump back to Manhattan, right? It would be a little bit like a quasi-political Civil War type situation, right? You know, you have the New York Police Department, the Manhattan District Attorney, and state officials and stuff like that, which don't have jurisdiction in Florida, requiring legally the Florida police to grab him and cuff him themselves. Secret Service is involved, the federal government might get involved, and the state guard would just say, no, fuck no, we're not gonna do that shit at all. It's illegitimate, you have no jurisdiction, fuck you, get out of here with that shit. Who's to say that wouldn't happen? Because the alternative, I think, like, from the mind of Ron DeSantis specifically, put yourself in his position. Here you've got a resident in your state, former president, American icon, billionaire, most famous person in the world. He's on the campaign trail. How is it going to look since you are presumptively and preemptively planning to get into that same race, right? How does your own image look? How does it look if you allow your opponent to be in jail? How would that look for Ron DeSantis? What would happen? What would happen? Let's say that Trump does get knocked out. I mean, if he does get indicted and he does in fact get arrested, doesn't prevent him from running, even being in a jail cell. Wouldn't prevent him from actually launching a campaign. To be fair, Trump can actually still run his presidential campaign even while he's in a jail cell. Arresting him is not going to prevent him from running. It would, however, probably badly impact the campaign. If DeSantis then gets in and throws his hat in the ring, what does America First do? He might win the Republican nomination. Does he win the general? Not really. If anything, I think he'll probably lose if Trump gets arrested, because all of America First stays home and turns their back to him, just like what we saw in the Georgia runoff in 2021. Trump's core base is too large, too powerful, and a too disproportionate chunk of the electorate in the GOP for DeSantis, or anyone else for that matter, to possibly win if Donald Trump has been taken off the campaign trail and put in a cell. It's not going to be a good look for DeSantis if he allows that to happen. Know what I mean? Now we move on to problem number 3, and that is that, of course, this immediately turned political, as anything would with a politician, right? You know, on the side of the Republicans, they're all essentially just saying like, oh my god, all these liberals, these sons of bitches, these motherfuckers are trying to get fucking Trump, bro. You know, that's what they're saying. And then, on the other hand, you know, you've got your libtards and leftoids over here on the fucking Democrat side that are all like, oh, he's a criminal, Orange Man is a madman, we got to get him arrested, he is the second coming of Adolf Hitler, he is a fascist, we got him this time, Orange Man bad. Like, as a person who covers this type of stuff for a living, I know this firsthand. Like, it's just how politics works here in the United States. Everybody gets all up in arms and they freak the fuck out, and it's like whenever a person on the other side does something or whatever that is noteworthy, they're going to make a comment one way or another. What I'm trying to say is, the issue here is that the Republican side of the US public immediately believes that you are staging a coup. That's a pretty big fucking problem. There would be protests, by the way. It would be seen as politically, as like, you know, like a political hit job of some sort. Now, preemptive warning to people who want to protest this, and I'm telling this to both sides, Republican, Democrat, left, right, liberal, conservative. If anyone tells you to enter a federal building, or throw a rock, or flip over a police car, or set buildings on fire, or set off fireworks on cops, or if things start getting dicey, do not participate. I repeat, don't fucking participate. It probably glows in the dark. January 6th comes to mind. Do not do anything of the sort, hauling off and beginning street battles, or throwing rocks and setting things on fire because a political figure got arrested. That doesn't necessarily even lead to a guilty plea or anything like that, and with completely unknown and uncharted effects. That's the type of shit that you only see in third world countries, like Brazil, Mexico, or South Africa. No offense to anybody living in those countries. Whatever happens to Trump tomorrow, it is not a reason to attempt to start a civil war. Now, Trump is not going to be in any serious trouble if he gets arrested. I think we should already know this by now. He is not going to be in any serious trouble whatsoever. Even if they go through and they charge him with this, and even if they goddamn convict him and he is now serving significant jail time or losing a shit ton of money, it has no effect on this dude. It's certainly not gonna stop him from running. He's still going to be posting Rumble videos and is still gonna be running his campaign. He's also been reinstated on YouTube, so he might post there as well. This is a dude with a disproportionate following and is worth billions of dollars. What do you think? He gives a fuck if he gets charged with a misdemeanor? I think he's going to be okay. Trump might not even show up to the trial. He'll just shrug his shoulders and be like, haha, you can't catch me. What are you guys gonna do, motherfuckers? I really don't think Trump's really too pressured about that charge or whatever, but it once again always comes back to the public visibility of the situation. If you're Trump here, you're about to try to run for president again for the first time around, it ended with the January 6th shit. They can't even get Trump on any insurrection charges or anything even after January 6th. Now we're investigating the investigators, finding out all of the shit that they've missed on purpose, as we have seen. J6 committee members never even reviewed any of the footage that they were putting out. Before they put out any of their footage, they all left it up to the staffers. Interesting way to deal with a situation where you're claiming to the public that you think that the US government was overthrown by MAGA Republicans in a coup attempt. The Georgia case fell flat. The Mueller report, we all know what happened. The original Stormy Daniels situation ended with Stormy Daniels losing, by the way, so now they're trying to work around with the lawyer case with Michael Cohen. Is anybody noticing a pattern here? January 6th didn't lead to an indictment, didn't seem like Trump did anything wrong, and now they're trying to up whatever he did to a felony charge, again, through the falsification of the business records thing, but that's only just my opinion. So for him, right now it is vital, at least from a non-informed outsider's perspective, for him to really try to maintain his public image and really try to defend himself from, stories that could really hurt his name or his brand or his presidential campaign, and that's exactly what this is. And usually when he's going through a legal battle of some sort, whether that be the Mueller investigation or January 6th or even what we saw before the pandemic with the quid pro quo thing with Zelensky, but he didn't want to be involved with this shit in the first place, because 90% of the time, it's all bullshit at the end of the day. And even if they do accuse him of something or anything for the over 9,000th time, nothing ever happens to him actually, because at the end of the day, the case falls flat and he's deemed innocent. And who knows, maybe I could be wrong here. I really don't mind being wrong at all. Maybe he really was having an affair. Maybe he really was sleeping with Stormy Daniels or whatever. Honestly, me personally, really not my goddamn business. Especially towards his core base. They don't give a fuck. Doesn't really affect me in the slightest. If anything, I'm more concerned about this fucking economy. I want to go back to the old days where gas only cost $1.50 a gallon and we actually didn't have any shortages, where I can actually afford to finally buy a new computer for once. So I do agree with Elon Musk, I do agree with Optimus, Styx, and Scott Adams, and many others, and, there are liberals out there who are really anxious about this whole thing right now, because they realize in the end, if Trump does get arrested, he could end up scoring the nomination and win the general in a Reagan-esque landslide just by that issue alone. Regardless of backlash by MAGA and America First, and even former MAGA and neo-never-Trumpers that are, skeptical of Trump, like Anomaly and Ian Miles Chung, those two guys usually come to mind when referring to these people. A lot of the scrutiny from these individuals usually boils down to the sentiment of, well, Trump just didn't do enough, or MAGA is not the same, and so forth. If they see Donald Trump getting dragged off in handcuffs by law enforcement and sent to the back of a police car, well, holy shit would that rejuvenate them. And the fact is that he can run from a jail cell, which he will obviously not be in anyway, and indictment is not really a formal finding of guilt at all whatsoever. It's just insinuating that a trial is about to start. Meanwhile, it would affect Trump's campaign in some way, he'd be clearly taken off the campaign trail, and it would be a perfect fit with his core fan base's belief that he is being excessively persecuted nonstop because the system just goddamn fucking hates his guts. The Democrats are never going to support him anyway, so their opinion doesn't change whatsoever. Their opinion doesn't really matter. And that's the third and final issue. So this is really uncharted waters. Trump may get arrested tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday, maybe later in the week. He probably won't be arrested at all. By the time this video is uploaded, it may have already happened, so I'll update you guys in a pinned comment as always. I could put up a short video talking about the situation, obviously, but there is a chance that we might be witnessing history this week if Trump gets arrested, and quite honestly, to me personally, this is actually very fascinating to witness in my lifetime, where a president ends up getting arrested for the first time in history. We don't know if he is going to be arrested tomorrow, or any point this week, or if at all. We'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. But as always, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below, and if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias, links are in the description below. Don't forget to follow me on all my new tech sites, links in the description will also be below. There are other video hosting sites that I use, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, they're all in the links down below. Share this video around with your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps out a lot if you share this video around, helps grow the channel and helps me grow. Of course, as always, leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, what are your thoughts about this situation? As always, I end the conversation back down to you, so leave all your thoughts in the comments down below about this situation. And don't forget to join the Discord server, links in the description below, if you want to hang out, chit chat, play video games with me, or send some news tips and video ideas, since my DMs are open there. I can't respond to everything, but I'll get as much as I can done. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.